I had a really excellent carrot harvest this year. This is the second round I got out of my raised beds, and the green stalk. I've got another batch going in the raised bed, so I've still got more to come. But after I get these cleaned up, I have these greens left over, the tops of the carrots, and I don't want to throw them out. So I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to make pesto with them. Let me begin by saying I don't really exactly follow a recipe. I don't do a lot of measuring with this, but I'm going to try to come up with one, and I'll put it below or put a link to it below so that it'll give you a place to get started. But really just kind of play around with it and adjust to your taste. So the first thing I do is I pull the leaves off of the stems. Now, the smaller stems are probably going to get broken up okay in the food processor, but the larger ones may not. If you want to try using those, I would suggest you put them in first and process them and see if they break up enough. If not, then you can take them out and then you put all of the leaves in there to be processed. Once I've got the leaves removed, then I am going to rinse them really well in the colander and let them drain and pat them dry to get them as dry as possible. And to make the pesto, then I put the nuts in the food processor and begin chopping them up first. Now, traditionally, pesto is made with pine nuts, and it certainly tastes wonderful to use those, but they are rather expensive. So I tend to use walnuts. I like the taste of those in there. Other nuts, like pecans, could work as well. So if you have an abundance of something, try making it with that and see how it tastes. So I'm going to give it a few pulses just to get them chopped up really good so that when I start adding in the carrot tops, then it will go smoother. So now I've got the rinsed and drained carrot top leaves. And like I said, I'm not measuring this. I'm just putting it in. So I kind of fill up my food processor bowl and then I pulse it a few times to begin getting everything blended up. I'll stop it and move things around a little bit. And then as it starts breaking down, I will add more in and continue the process. Okay, so you continue pulsing everything, break it up really good, and then it's time to add in some salt, some garlic. I use garlic powder because fresh garlic upsets my stomach, but you can certainly put in fresh garlic and chop it up with the other stuff. I put in a bit of lemon juice and then I turn the food processor on and slowly add olive oil through the tube. You want to add in just a little bit and let it mix in really well, and then add some more until you get the consistency that you desire. And notice the processor is running this entire time so I can keep an eye on it and see how things are going. Now, if you were going to eat your pesto fresh right after you finish making it, this is when you can also add in some freshly grated cheese. Parmesan is what I like to add in because I usually have it on hand, but any kind of hard cheese that you want to grate in could be really yummy with this, so you can give it a try. And then occasionally I'll stop it and scrape down the sides, clean it up real good, and like add a little bit more olive oil. I'm trying to get it to the consistency that I really like. And when I think I've got it where I want it, then I will give it a taste and see how it is, if I need to add anything else. But it looks like we have a winner. What I like to do with my pesto, I may even keep a little of it out to have for dinner that night, but I tend to freeze it in little cubes and then thaw it out when I'm ready for it. So what I have here is an old ice cube tray, and I just fill up each of the sections with the pesto, and then I will put it in the freezer and let it freeze really good, and then I will put it into a freezer bag to store it. Okay, once your cubes are frozen, then you're going to take the tray and get them out. And I find I often need just a dinner knife to run gently around the edge of it, and then that can help pop them out. And then I put them in a storage bag and store them in the freezer. And when I want to have some pesto, I just remove 3 or 4 cubes, seems to be enough for me. I take them out, I put them in a pan, and I put them on a low heat to let them start thawing out. And as they thaw, I'll stir them a little bit, and you may find that you also need to add just a little bit of olive oil to it to make them the consistency you want. Play around with that. Also, this is the time that you can add some shredded Parmesan cheese or whatever cheese you would like to have in there, and then give it a taste and see if you need to adjust the seasonings. And when it's done, serve it over pasta and enjoy. So that's how I don't throw out my carrot tops. I use them to make pesto. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And also, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to the channel and join me along as I find more ways to become self-reliant and resilient. Until next time.